5-0 victory for the defending champions, and it's a win that now puts them 10 points clear at the top of the table with Dortmund in action tomorrow. Let's welcome in, shall we, Ali Moreno, Julien Laurens and Stevie Nicol. Stevie, I want to start with you because these sort of games are kind of tricky to talk about too much because what is there really to say?
Actually, for me, the thing that stuck out since the Bundesliga got back, and indeed Bayern, no surprise Lewandowski, Gnabry's been great as well. Alphonso Davies doing his usual on the left. I'm kind of beginning to think that the guy who's as important to Bayern as anybody on that side is Kimmich. I can honestly say previously I wasn't sure about his move from full back to the middle of the park. I wasn't sure whether he was just a water carrier. But since the Bundesliga started, he's kind of shown that he's got a lot more things than just that. He did score the goal against Dortmund last weekend, but in all the other games, he has absolutely been involved in every single thing they've done, not just going forward, but defensively. So for me, I'm not surprised that Bayern have won all the games, not surprised they're scoring goals. Kimmich's the one that surprised me more than anything.
As Stevie mentioned, Ali, Lewandowski's goals now you take for granted, 2 more today, closing in on that record held by Gerd Müller for 40 goals in a single Bundesliga season.
And it's not going to slow down, Dan. This is a guy that has a drive to score goals. And I think today what he would be disappointed about is the fact that he didn't get a hat-trick. That's the only reason he sticks around for 90 minutes, and that's to get a hat-trick, to score more goals, to make sure that he breaks whatever records he has in his mind. I'm not certain as to whether he's paying attention to Gerd Müller and whether he wants to get to that number or not. I don't know whether he has that in his mind or if that's something that pushes him. But whatever drives him is scoring goals. And you see it, you sense it with his movement off the shoulder of the defenders, inside the 18-yard box. Sometimes he drops off, sometimes he goes in behind. It's difficult to keep track of Lewandowski. And he also does all the sort of little things and details that you want from a center striker, the hold-up play, feeling off defenders, creating space for others. There's a lot about Lewandowski that you have to love, but I think most of all what you have to love is the hunger to score goals and the fact that he is, without a doubt, in my mind, the #1 out-and-out striker in the world, and I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Jules, what struck you from this game?
I'm always amazed how teams like Fortuna Dusseldorf think that they can go to Bayern and be so open. I mean, there were times in the first half where they tried to play from the back. I mean, playing from the back against Bayern Munich, away in Munich as well, was just, I find that baffling how they're not trying to make it harder for Bayern, less pace, even 11 men behind the ball, I don't care, but at least make it a bit harder. That was far too easy. I mean, the first goal after 15 minutes, maybe they could have held on a bit longer. It was just too easy, far too easy, and I'm just amazed. There's just no one parking the bus in the Bundesliga. Maybe it's a good thing, maybe it's not a good thing, I don't know. But in a game like this, as soon as I saw the way they were setting up, the way they were playing, I knew that it could be easily 5, 7, maybe even 10. It could have been 10 on another day. I'm just amazed how open they are.
Now, when we were talking about the return of the Bundesliga, Stevie, we talked about the fact actually this could be very much advantageous for Bayern Munich regarding their Champions League credentials. However, as someone asked on Extra Time yesterday, they made quite a good point, didn't they, in the fact that hey, Bayern are going to be wrapped up by June. There's then a month break before the Champions League restarts, as opposed to the other contenders who are going to be competing in their domestic leagues until the end of July. Bayern Munich won't really have a proper match now until the Champions League is back. They've got Bayer Leverkusen next week, but they can afford to lose that given the lead they have at the top of the table. How difficult a situation are they in to get themselves ready fully for August and the Champions League, Stevie?
Well, they're not going to be able to get themselves ready the way the other sides are. Regardless of who they play, the team that they're playing against will have had matches behind them and will be far sharper and certainly far more match ready. I think we have to remember that the Bayern performance against Dortmund is for me a pointer to what might happen come the Champions League, because it was a proper game and they clearly weren't at their best, and they had already had a couple of games behind them before that game. So if they're going to be at best how we were against Dortmund, regardless of who they pull in the Champions League, it's going to be a struggle for them. I mean, there's no way round it, unless they can get games under the belt, which they're not going to be able to do. Not proper games anyway.
They're in a similar situation to PSG, Jules, that we've discussed quite a bit, in the fact that they're very much at a disadvantage as well, because their league is done, obviously, and they won't play a proper game until August. So does it give the Spanish and English clubs a little bit of an advantage going into the next round of matches?
Well, I think there's two sides. You can, yes, argue that it would be better for any club still in the Champions League or even in the Europa League to play until the end of July and then be already ready with the rhythm, with the fitness to go and continue in August for the European competitions. You can also say that those clubs will play a lot between whenever their league starts again and the end of July. They will play every 3 days, and there's a point that maybe injuries will happen in mid-July, for example, that they will get tired maybe as well physically and mentally of having to play every 3 days. And all of that, and maybe that would be a disadvantage. I think Bayern Munich, like PSG, will probably look at organising friendly matches, little friendly tournaments, having a training camp there and there. But you're right, that doesn't replace competition and competitive games. So it'll be very interesting to see the first week of August, and especially, at least Bayern will have a second leg to play against Chelsea, where they're already almost through to the quarterfinals, whereas PSG will go straight into the quarterfinal with no games before that as well.
Ali, where do you stand on all of this?
Well, I would be more concerned about Bayern Munich if I didn't see evidence in front of me that this is a team that has their mindset in the correct place. See, today would have been a very easy game to just kind of take lightly. One of those games in which you may feel it's a trap game, where you have played Dortmund in the midweek, you come off getting that big win and know what that means in the league, and then you're playing lowly Fortuna Dusseldorf, and then next week you're playing Bayern Leverkusen, who would be sort of the next big challenge in front of you. And instead, what we saw is a Bayern Munich team that right now, when you put any team in front of them, they don't care. They're a machine right now. And so it's going to be difficult to carry that momentum onto Champions League. But I think mentally, this team is where they need to be. And I think Hansi Flick is going to do a job, or his most difficult job is going to be maintaining that level of focus, that level of intensity and urgency as you go into Champions League. But this is not new for Bayern Munich and for a lot of these players. These are some of the criticisms that you had of Bayern Munich even in the days going back to Pep Guardiola, where they had wrapped up the league and now you have to go into Champions League and you were not quite able to sort of flip the switch on and off. So if there is something to sort of hang on to, if you're Bayern Munich, we've been here before. We sort of know what this feels like. Have we learned from those experiences in the past, and can we move forward? I think the mindset right now for Bayern Munich is correct.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.